Breaking, President Trump says it's time for Adam Schiff to pay the price for a real crime. Adam Shifty Schiff is in big trouble. He falsified loan documents. He once said my son would go to prison on a scam that Schiff, along with other crooked Dems, illegally manufactured in order to stage an actual coup. My son did nothing wrong. Knew nothing about the fictional story. It was an American tragedy. Now Shifty should pay the price of prison for a real crime, not one made up by corrupt accusers. Dude, he's going fucking ham right now, dude. He really is. And he really likes to insult Shifty Schiff. What is this
Adam
one?
Shifty Schiffs. Can you believe this guy? He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. And the biggest head. We call him watermelon head. I'd say, how could that big fat face stand on a neck that looked like this finger? How can it? It was the weirdest thing. It's a mystery. Nobody can understand it. But he's one of the most dishonest human beings I've ever seen. And you know how we can allow people like that to run an office is a shame, but we did. He was in charge of the witch hunt. You know, he was in charge of the fake witch hunt with Russia. It was a made-up story. Made up. Think of it. They make up a story. They know it's made up. It's gone on for a year and a half, 2 years. Russia. I knew nothing about it. The only thing I knew was that I taxed the pipeline that I told you about, that I put all sorts of sanctions and everything else. They never had a problem like they had with me. But it was Russia, constant, as a method of, what they did is that was the complaint about why she lost an election, because crooked Hillary was expected to win the election. But they didn't see what we saw. We saw the biggest crowds in history gathering, only superseded by the crowds we just had. But here's a guy that goes out and he goes to an intelligence hearing or whatever you might call it, and it's supposed to be secret. He'd walk out. He'd either make a call off the record, just as crooked Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff. He's a shifty Adam. Or he'd just go out blatantly and have a news conference. And because it had to do with me and my family, he'd go out and have a news conference. And he said, you know, you've got to remember, he knows it's a hoax because he made it up with crooked Hillary. So he knows it's a hoax because we're dealing with human beings on the other side. He'd say, Donald Trump Jr., the son of the President of the United States, will spend many years in prison because of what he's done with Russia. Now, think of that statement.
And this is a little more insight into how Trump is. Trump does not forget this stuff, dude. He's pissed. He's pissed at all of these people that went after him, went after his family, went after his business associates. He's pissed, and he does not forget.
On a human basis, I have a young son, who is being told that he's going for prison on something he doesn't even know what they're talking about. He said, Dad, I don't know what's going on. They keep talking about I'm involved with Russia. I don't know anything about Russia. I swear to you, Dad. And yet Adam Schiff goes out and makes a statement about a hoax that he made up that he knows is false. How bad a human being do you have to be? They put my son and my family through that kind of trauma. These are bad people. These are sick degenerates. And I used to be much nicer to them. I gave them the benefit of the doubt, but I've just seen too much. They make up a story about Russia. It's a hoax. And eventually, now they've all admitted it was a hoax. On to the next one. That's Russia. But they know it's a hoax. And they say about a young man that he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison because of what he's done with Russia. He knows it's a hoax. How bad do you have to be to have that happen to your son? And, you know, it has a bad effect on a family, a bad effect. You know, you okay, Don? I am, dead, but
and that brings us back to right here. So that's what Trump's talking about. President Trump says it's time for Adam Schiff to pay the price for a real crime. Adam Shifty Schiff is in big trouble. He falsified loan documents. He once said my son would go to prison on a scam that Schiff, along with other crooked Dems, illegally manufactured in order to stage an actual coup. My son did nothing wrong, knew about the fictional story. It was knew nothing about the fictional story. It was an American tragedy. Now Shifty should pay the price for prison for a real crime, not one made up by corrupt accusers. Let's effing go. I'm glad he's putting the pressure on. We got to have it. And listen, people want arrests, and I do get it. I really, really get it. And I obviously I hope that we get it. I do. And this is not going to happen overnight. This is going to take a lot more time to build up, cases against all of these people. But I got to say, I bet Barack Obama, I would say Barry is probably not sleeping very well at night, but he probably hasn't slept well in a long time, seeing as he lays next to Big Mike every night. But, Barry is probably not feeling very good at the moment. Hillary, obviously, and many people in that administration probably on edge right now, probably on edge.